It's a soul-crushing word when you've been tortured into believing that your genes are disturbed. As if somewhere in my biology there's an undiscovered difference, destining me to be angry and express it with violence. Well, I was diagnosed bipolar and schizoaffective. What good's a diagnosis when there's no measurable evidence? So now that I hear voices, I'm empirically different. Like having emotions, it's an ability. There's nothing wrong with my head. Is a mutant what you call me? Well, wouldn't you be one too? Cause every single one of us is in the genetically unique zoo. But mutants aren't monsters, we're all humans just like you. So decide for yourself if I'm a monster when I'm through. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. I'm not in a class of monsters, I'm just a new generation from an old colony. There might be clones, yet no one knows. Yet a microchip in your dog's bones could be the work of a monster or a team of heroes. Is it a question of if revolving or wasting time on the wrong problem that we should be solving? Like how the word monster could be said about Richard Feynman or the X-Men. Who said Magneto's not a monster, he's just misunderstood? Well, Xavier's got a school with kids we call cadets. It's not unlike a Jedi training school, nor a place we could forget. Don't you remember? Arnold was an iconoclast, not Miss Frizzle's orange pet. You may ask if a monster can love one more than they did before. Not if there's an asymptote or love so strong from things she wrote that survival and extinction could make this bloke choke. Cause Frankenstein's monster didn't have a soulmate to sing by a never-ending waterfall when he was suffering. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. I'm not in a class of monsters, I'm just a new generation from an old colony. If I saw you suffer and you didn't see me cry, would you call me a monster or say that I internalize? I may cry while sleeping in, I can be afraid to be awake. I'm just scared of how many hours that there are in a day. Even when I'm hiding beneath my sheets, I am reminded depression is a loaded word that can medicalize by silence. Now I walk among you with these new abilities in my head, and if you've read your history, you might think some folks want me dead. We've been tortured or enslaved if the experiments matter, though it's not like what I read in the Willie Lynch letter. If the Holocaust is awful, would that analogy work better? I wish I needed a historical reference to relate what's the matter. If I'm seen as a monster, I'm sorry for my choice of words. I've tried to pick them well and avoid using threats of force, like the ones I've heard before, based upon a doctor's choice, who never said the word monster, though I felt it in their voice. So choose your words wisely, like when you use the word violence, cause who it's that's committing violence tends to get to silence. And if we resist, then it's their fact that we're dangerous, as they lock us up and drug us and remove ourselves from us. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. I'm not in a class of monsters, I'm just a new generation from an old colony. Was I created or was I made? It doesn't matter as much as those who came before and those still waiting to be saved. If you call it an it and us a them, who's the you that I refer to then?